Well, thanks for being here today. Today we're going to talk about how to manage a successful construction company. That's kind of an oxymoron. There's 5,321 things that you do every day in construction, and they're totally out of control, and you have no control over any of them. They just happen. Your subs don't show up, your material supplier this, your plumber's late, your bid's wrong, your customer doesn't like stuff. We're always out of control, so we got to learn how to manage, right? So I've got up 10, 15 point steps. I mean, I'm pretty detailed. I'm pretty write it all down detail guy. So first of all, we got to have a plan. We have to have a biz builder blueprint system. That's what I call mine, that I created for contractors, and it tends to work. It's a business model that works. And so I've got to have a plan. I got to have a vision. I got to know where I want to be in 3 to 5 years. I got to have a mission statement. I got to know my core values and principles. Why? So I make sure we all fit within the sieve that spits out what I want. I want my company to have integrity, known for on time. I want my people to follow the systems. I want to have team players with positive attitudes, on and on. So I got to have a clear picture of who we are and how we want to do business. I've got to have my targets and goals clearly outlined, defined, and measured at least every month. I got to know my revenue, my profit, my sales, my productivity, all those kinds of things. I've got to stay focused on where am I. You know, I got to have a scorecard, scoreboard. And then I've got to communicate that with all my people. So part of my job is to communicate with my team and let them know how we're doing, what our goals are, and where we're going. All right? And so we've got to have a strategy and a plan. Number 2, how to make sure we're achieving the best results we can. I don't want to shoot for average. I don't think anybody wants to be average. I want to be better than average. I want to be on the highest 25% of return on investment, on profit, net profit margin, on return on equity, all those kinds of things. I want to be at the top, the upper crust. I don't want to be average. Nobody wants to be average. But in order to not be average, to be above average, you've got to do more than average, which means lots of things. You've got to know how to manage. And so when you're finished with your jobs, I don't want any, and I mean zero, profit fade. I don't want to bid at 20% and only make 15. I call that profit margin fade. I don't want any of that. When we say we've got 1,000 man hours, I want to hit 1,000 man hours. So what I have to do to make sure that happens, I want to build a best-in-class, top 10 to 20% business versus our competition. Number 3, I got to have visionary leadership. I got to be a great leader, and I got to manage like a pro. So what does that mean? I've got to have ongoing one-on-one conversations with my people. I've got to have team meetings. I've got to have all company meetings where I explain where we're going and the results we're achieving. I've got to have ongoing coaching, mentoring, talent development. I've got to meet with my direct reports every week to monitor and manage them and make sure they're doing what they need to do to achieve their goals so that we achieve our goals as a team. And so I got to make sure I have great financial management, full charge construction, accounting, controller, bookkeeper. I've got to have a pro who knows construction, professional accounting and GAAP principles and all those kinds of things which we need to know. I've got to have clear systems so I can delegate and empower the people to achieve results. And I've got to treat our people with a great culture. And I got to make sure I don't have to make all the decisions. That's the key. I've got to let go to grow. I've got to learn how to delegate, hold people accountable, and not do their jobs for them. I hire people to do the job for me, not me manage them like a micromanaging control freak. And so think about how you do that. Number 4, I've got to have real strict operations, systemized, organized, that produce the results. If I have a project manager, his job is to bring it in on budget. Superintendent is bringing it on time with no punch list. Labor on budget, customer happy, no rework, no callbacks. That's what I expect. So I've got to make sure we achieve what's expected. So I've got to treat my people properly. I've got to have training and I have systems. So I got to, number 1, know what the goals are. Every person needs a job description which clearly defines the results expected and the deadlines when they're supposed to make it happen. So I want to make sure my business operates without me, the owner, being so hands-on and making all the decisions and everything and doing everything for everybody. So then I have to have a great construction operation production department. I've got to have great project management, project managers who take charge of everything, who are in charge, who are organized, who meet deadlines, make the customer happy, achieve the goals. That's what I got to do. We've got to have good job cost tracking, updated every week. I got to know where I am. We've got to have great financial reports. We've got to bill on time. We've got to sign change orders before we start work. All those rules that we have to do. We've got to do a weekly job walk with the project manager, the superintendent, and the foreman to make sure we're on track. We're on budget. We don't have any callbacks. We don't have any safety issues. And so field supervision, I got to have really good supervisors that are experienced and know what we need to do to make it happen. So think about all the things. There's so many things I have to do to be a construction business manager to make it work. To me, one of the most important things we have to do is have accurate estimates. They got to be right on. I don't want my estimates to be a guesstimate. I got to have a job cost history library that clearly shows how many hours it takes to do certain tasks for my self-performed crews. I've got to have a list of things we typically miss or might miss in our estimating template so I don't ever miss them again. I was working with a large general contractor that has been in business 100 years. They do about 100 million. And they were missing the same things every job. I said, why don't you just add it into your template so you never miss it again? They go, oh, I never thought of that. Come on, let's wake up, right? Slap yourself. So regular meetings, I gotta have regular meetings. I know everybody, most small business owners, contractors hate meetings. I hate meetings, I hate meetings. If you don't have a meeting, how do you know if your guy's on track? How do you know if your crew's hitting their goals? You got to meet with them and make sure they're on track. And you don't have to. Your project team, your general supervisor, your project manager should hold the meetings. And you have to make sure they're holding the meetings. And you need to get the results. Next, we got to have great financial management. Got to make sure we know our systems. We have good software technology that integrates between estimating, project management, and of course, financial management, payroll. It's all got to tie together. We can't be using 3 different programs and some don't tie. And everything's got to be technology. Everything's got to be online. And systems, in no particular order, systems are huge. We got to have great systems that give us checklists for how to start jobs, how to finish jobs, how to run jobs. Really good systems. And then eventually I want to build a management team that runs the business for me. I'm the owner. I want a manager of sales and marketing and estimating, pre-construction. I want to make sure we have an operations manager who runs the construction. I want to have a financial manager. I want to have a chief estimator. I want to have a good team that runs the business. And I got to have technology to tie that all together, of course. What else do I need? I need to have an organizational structure where I've got a good org chart and every position is either filled or assigned. So I know what my flow chart is. So we're going to talk about, future video, how we're going to manage our org chart and organize everything, which includes talent development, recruitment, retention, incentives, all those kinds of things, training. And of course, just as important of everything I've already said, we've got to have a great business development program that generates high margin work and loyal customers who give us tons of work without having to scrape the barrel to get the project awarded and the contract. I want to have a great team that maintains excellent customer relationships with customers who give us lots of work. And I want to eventually build a wealth and investment program. So what's my role? Simple. Make it all happen. Just make it all happen. I got a future video coming out on the president's role, what's an owner do, and hopefully you'll check that out in the future. But anyway, hopefully you've learned sort of the overview. It's so big. So many things we have to do and be so good at. So in conclusion, I've got a workbook on this. I'd love to send it off to you. Check out contractorbestinclass.com. And I will send you the Best in Class Construction Company workbook of the things you need to focus on and achieve to accomplish your goals. All right? Thank you for being here today.